Oh, so it'll just be like of my face, like speaking?
Yeah, I'll put a little cutout of you right here. It'll be like this big.
Oh, you should have a cut. We could do like a puppet. We could do a puppet one. We'll do a cutout of you.
Yeah, not cutouts. This is Byron, Lazine, and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 80 of The Real Word.
Wow.
Wow.
That was kind of flat this morning.
Or
this afternoon?
It's this
evening.
afternoon. It's like 5 o'clock
it's
on
5:30.
a Sunday.
I know.
You just waking up?
It feels like it. No, actually, it sounds like you just woke up.
I've been talking to you for like 15 minutes. Now, when we start the show, that's when you're going to...
I think you were napping on the couch before I got here.
If I had my headphones on, I could hear and then maybe adjust. But you don't like headphones, so...
No, we could do headphones. I feel like people that watch would be like, what do they have? Like, you want to put them on?
No.
Okay.
No. And we're doing it on a Sunday because your travel schedule is conflicting once again with The Real Word. So we're here on a Sunday at 5:35, as you pointed out. Mm-hmm. And I sound like I'm sleeping. I don't understand that, but...
Well, you said it was a 3 martini night, so
that was last night.
Yeah, so maybe that's
today.
So maybe that's why.
Okay. I was still up early.
That's great.
5 a.m.
I see I've been seeing all the comments.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's get into it. We got 3 rackets. Traditional racket show. We're going to give you 3 real estate related topics. We're going to put our 2 cents on top of them, where they sit in the industry and all of that. We're going to finish out these reviews as promised.
I know this is like excruciating.
It's going to happen. The Inman Innovators Award is next week, the end of next week, I believe. Nicole's gone all of this week.
Yep.
And while she's gone, she's going to send me her video notes, and I'm going to do a bonus Real Word review show without Nicole, with her video notes.
I feel like that's super convenient.
Super convenient for you.
No, for you.
All right. Racket number 1, breaking news since our last episode. Realogy is suing Compass. Little interesting here if you read through it. I know we got a comment on the last Real Word about using too many Inman articles.
Yeah, you were good this time.
This is an Inman article.
Only one, though.
I just feel like it's the best one that covers it. It actually gives you a PDF breakdown of the entire 68-page complaint, so you can go through it in detail if you choose to.
Did you go through it?
I did not go through all 68 pages, no.
No.
I went through the
article? I went through the article.
Article, Patrick Kern, staff writer. So anyways, what it boils down to is basically, when you really boil it down to, is poaching and recruiting, right? Like, Realogy feels like Compass is being unfair in the way that they're taking the talent from Realogy and bringing it over to Compass. By the way, did you read any of the comments?
I did. I did read some of them. Some guy was saying, hey,
There's
that's
18
funny.
comments on this Inman article.
A few agents in my office just left for Coldwell Banker for $10,000 and $14,000, and they weren't even producing agents. And
CB gets mentioned a lot. Like, CB is there's
well,
one,
it's interesting
2,
though, because in the lawsuit
3,
too, they're saying that they
4.
think that once Compass gets the 20% market share that they're after, that they're actually then going to start raising the splits. It's like all assumptions and all, but it's interesting because then you start thinking, well, maybe that's what what Realogy has done in the past, and so that's.
I thought that was interesting. They put assumptions, to your point, in the lawsuit. Like, this is what they're gonna do. They're masterminding this whole thing, and we've got it all figured out.
Yeah.
Jay Thompson, formerly of Zillow, in the comment section on this Inman article. Someone pass the popcorn. This is real estate drama at its finest.
Oh, great. Did you see the other guy too at the very, one of the first comments? He was talking about, oh gosh, it was pretty much along the popcorn thing. Like, as soon as Realogy's stock is dropping, they're just trying to, deflect.
So Realogy right now, obviously they're in the big lawsuit that's gained some attention. We've covered it. The lawsuit about the buyer broker commission being, built in, and NAR's involved, and all these different companies are involved. They're suing now Compass. 2 days after they announced this lawsuit, there's another lawsuit. There's another Inman article you can find if you'd like. It's labeled "Investors Sue Realogy Alleged Fraud Over Agent Commission." So basically what this one is saying is because Realogy's involved in the other lawsuit where they didn't disclose this buyer broker commission racket.
Right.
That now the investors, because the stock went from $40 in 2015 all the way down to $5 today, the investors are going to sue because of their losses in the stock. Realogy is in a whirlwind of sues. The Compass one of sues, of lawsuits, of sues, of suing, of suits.
Oh my God! I feel like you know what? I feel like we could be done for the day. I feel
That's
like
it, of sues.
I feel like we got your clip.
I'm glad I'm glad I'm avoiding all these sues for sure.
I definitely don't want to get any sues.
Get some bobs up in there with those sues. But
So
no,
lots is going on.
Like there's a lot swirling around Realogy right now, and a
yeah.
stock that feels like it's going to be free pretty soon. I mean, it's just under $6. That's ridiculous. And I've mentioned to some people that are higher up in like CB and locally and different. Hey, do you have a lot of Realogy stock? I want to buy more. That's what I've heard. I'm buying more. I don't know, man. It's getting pretty low. You would imagine that it can't get much lower than this, but
well.
All right. So what do you think?
I think it's a total racket. I think the and again, I know that I'm just reading sort of like the watered down version on Inman, but it sounds funny that they're suing a company for giving bonuses, and then again, like we said, that they're accusing them of what they think that they're going to be doing. The whole thing is actually fun to read.
They alleged a bunch of different stuff, and one of them I thought was pretty interesting was that they actually alleged that Compass was some developers or hackers were getting into their back end, and they were, I guess, finding this out through IP addresses. Yes, his IP address is linked to Compass. That they were getting into one of their back-end proprietary systems, Realogy. I thought that was an interesting claim. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. A lot of it is, and if you just read the comments, you'll shake your head and say, "Yeah, CB has done that."
We know how the people feel.
Yeah, that's certainly speaks volumes when the agents are commenting. All right, racket number 2, new Redfin-Opendoor iBuying partnership. It's another transformation for how you will sell your home. So basically what this is, in my opinion, is a smart play for Opendoor. Opendoor does not have a consumer-facing presence. They don't have a brand like Redfin. They don't have a place where consumers are looking for properties. What they have is basically a tool. What they have is nothing more than this lockbox system on the homes that they're purchasing. So it's a feature.
Is that in Vegas?
They have them in Vegas. We could, when we go, Inman, we're coming, Inman, for sure.
Because we were talking about doing that.
Yes, we can do that. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Getting some open doors.
But like, bing.
Yeah, next week in Vegas, right? Fresh off of your Orlando trip, you're hitting some of the big cities here in the summer.
And what's ridiculous is that I'm going the hottest time.
Both locations.
Of the year.
You're gonna need a vacation from these 2 vacations.
Oh my God, I'm gonna need like a cold bath.
So yeah, Opendoor, smart, right? And I think these type of partnerships, to me, is what Redfin needs to be doing. It's why the Remax thing made a lot of sense until Remax said, you know what, screw you guys. You're totally not for the agent. You're totally trying to rip down the industry. Right. They backed away. Yep. But if Redfin, I can't talk today. Maybe you're right.
Yeah, some martinis. It's okay.
If Redfin can absolutely, the martinis have nothing to do with it,
whatever.
By the way. If they can absolutely secure these types of partnerships with companies and brands that have massive attention and lead flow, it's going to help, especially if they start sitting on a lot of inventory.
Right?
Yep. Nicole's in vacation mode. Jesus.
I'm not. I think it's just, I feel like each week some companies that are the disruptors are having to join forces. So it's sort of interesting to see where it's all going to go and if they actually are really all going to survive it because they're just like.
Before we move on to this one, you can read all the articles. If you go to our YouTube, they're all linked up. This is a Market Watch article. All right, Mr. Harry Moore. This is my boy Harry, who comments all the time. I'm definitely calling Harry out. He wanted some new, fresh sources. Links? So this is Market Watch. Listen to this, Nicole.
Yes.
This is from Greg Schwartz at Zillow. And this is on a recent earnings call with the company, okay? Consumers are falling in love with the Zillow offers experience, so it takes a little bit of invention and magic to take someone that has fallen in love with an offers experience and get them over to a premier agent. This is very interesting to me that he said this on the recent earnings call for Zillow. Zillow's been very upfront that their instant offers is going to be a very small percentage of the market, as low as 5%, maybe less. All of a sudden on the earnings call, a few months later, he's up there beating his chest on the experience that consumers are getting through the Zillow instant offer program. We were talking about this before the show. Glenn Kelman, CEO of Redfin, was talking about if we don't buy the house, somebody else is going to buy the house. Obviously, this article is referring to Zillow being one of those players. Right. Obviously, Opendoor can now buy up some of the houses that Redfin can't buy when people press the basically buy it now option on Redfin. Is Zillow having more success with this? Is this leading to something we're going to find out here in Q4, that this is working even better and bigger than they thought? Or is Greg Schwartz just like kind of inflating?
Well, I think you have to inflate feedback. It. I mean, I think we always talk about that when leaders get up there and they have to reemphasize. On an earnings call,
though, remember?
Well, but I think that it's super important because, again, I mean, we've sort of seen what's happened to Zillow in the last year. They've sort of been up, they've been down. They went one way, it fell apart, so they had to sort of kilter around.
I guess what I'm getting at when he says consumers are falling in love, is that the 5% of consumers that you believe are using this Zillow instant offer, or is that number now growing? Because when he says it, he makes it sound like more and more people want the experience.
I'm not getting that.
It's misleading.
I'm not getting that. I'm getting more that their experience is better than others. That's how I'm.
In comparison to.
Yes.
No, but he's comparing it to the premier agent experience. He's comparing it to his own two products.
Well, Zillow doesn't really have. I don't think Zillow really has many good feels for premier agents.
I thought this is a pretty good one by sometimes yes and no.
To be honest,
Market Watch actually thinks Redfin has a better grasp on the entire buyer experience, mostly because they actually have agents to some degree. So that's an interesting Market Watch article. But scroll all the way down to the bottom and read that quote from Greg Schwartz. Something to think about. So, all right, racket number 3: the housing market is about to shift in a bad way for buyers.
Who knew?
Here's the key points. The housing shortage that fueled competition and resulted in sky-high price gains throughout 2017 and in the first half of 2018 is on the horizon yet again, and supply could potentially hit a new low. So we know since that point in 2018, we've seen increases in supply. Now those increases in supply have lowered as much as 2.8%, which it was as high as over 6% or 5.8%, 6.4 in January, 5.8 in February. So there are less homes coming on the market. They think by October we could actually be in a shortage, but not in these luxury markets, not in Boston, more in the affordable cities or the cities like Austin and the suburbs of it. You think this is a racket? Are you still seeing high demand locally here?
Yeah, so I mean, I can only really speak locally about my buyers. I definitely see a shortage. I do think that sellers are actually, or at least the agents are directing their sellers to sort of list a little bit higher. I'm seeing that a lot. I think right now, though, buyers are also still just as savvy as sort of they always have been, and I've been having a lot of stalemates, like putting in offers and they're like, you know what, like forget it, like we'll walk away and wait for something else. So it's very interesting because as much as a buyer wants a house, they're unwilling to still in their mind overpay for it, even though there's no inventory, and they're willing to wait. Like people are just still willing.
People are willing to wait. We talked about on a previous Real Word some of those reasons. They reference them here.
Yeah,
they're saying it's a combination of people in a rate lock. Recently decreased consumer confidence. I don't know if I even buy that. I think consumer confidence is pretty high right now. And older generations choosing to age in place. That's really what we talked about.
Yeah.
In the past.
Well, we talked about that, and then we also talked about the fact that a lot of people had refinanced when rates were even lower than they are right now. So for them to actually move would potentially cost them a little bit more, even if they were downsizing. Their mortgage wouldn't even be going down. The size of their home would, but maybe not their monthly.
I don't know if and this is a CNBC article, Harry. So this is an Inman. This is a good one actually, and there's some videos that are really good tied into this. Valerie here, who's on this video from the Wall Street Journal. I'm not saying her last name. Wall Street Journal. A lot of good information sources coming out of this CNBC article. I thought it was interesting though. If you're locked into, like to your point, a low interest rate right now, the only reason you want to move is typically because a better floor plan, or what they mentioned here, maybe a better location, which means if it's a better location, a more walkable town, that type of location, then those prices over the last 5 to 10 years have likely come up.
Right.
So now you're leaving this interest rate to go buy over here. Your payment monthly is definitely going to be higher.
Right.
People move when it makes sense. Okay, I'm paying so much in rent.
Right.
Now I'm going to move and buy and lower my monthly payment. So it's really just these starter price points that are going to see this explosion that might come in the fourth quarter.
In all honesty, though, I think that it plays a role in all buyers, though, because even if say baby boomers that are wanting to downsize, but they're still having to pay more. I mean, again, they're going to be downsizing. I think they're. So I have my aunt that's actually wanting to downsize, and she's actually okay paying the same amount that she was paying on a smaller home. Mm-hmm. She just knows that her monthly expenses will be less, like her electric will be less, like her. So I think as long as they're educated enough to understand that, but still her mortgage will still be the same.
To your point too, the sense of urgency. If you're a baby boomer and you're retired and you're living in a place that you own outright, and it's like, okay, well, the right place hasn't come along yet. I'm just going to look for literally 3 years to find it. And I'm in no rush. And there's nothing that's going to happen to me by not making the move now.
No one's in a rush lately. There's no urgency.
Well, you're in a rush to get on vacation. But other than that.
No, I'm definitely not in a rush to do that.
No? Mm-mm. Yeah, I think she just mailed this entire episode in, and then now knowing that the show's over, Suave, she wants to say, "Oh no, I'm not in a rush." She knows it's over. She's leaving. Oh, we got 4 more rackets to go.
That's ridiculous.
Are you in a rush now?
No, I'm never in a rush.
All right, so that's all we got. We're gonna do the rest of the reviews. Nicole is going to, on vacation, send over some video notes. This is what accountability is called, making sure
we're doing it.
She does it.
Absolutely. Well, I have a 3-hour flight, so I can.
You have plenty of podcasting
time.
Good excuse to act like you're sleeping. Just put the headphones in. And,
with 3 children, it'll be awesome.
Hey,
my neighbors will love me.
Working here, listen to the podcast.
In the front and behind will love me.
All right, so those are the 3 rackets, 3 different sources. All the links are in the YouTube description. Harry, I'm just joking, man. Really appreciate all the comments and all the love that you send us all the time. If you've got a topic you want us to cover, throw it in the comments. Throw us a like, and we'll see you guys. Maybe we'll see you guys in Vegas, actually, the next time.
Oh, is that where we're going to do the podcast from?
The next reward, besides this bonus one, could be in Vegas. We'll see you at Inman Connect.
Bye, guys.